Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're here with the last episode of the Unusual Suspects, The Haunts. Last time we got into a bit of a mess, trying to free a bunch of wild animals, and in the process discovered what may be the most ancient creature we've ever seen in the form of a giant, very smart turtle. So I guess I'll pass it over to Emma, and we can go from there.
Yeah, hi, I'm Emma, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm still your GM for this last session. Super excited to see where this very arcane ritual that we might be about to do or not will lead us. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jared, pronouns he, him, and I'm back playing Rovdyr the Animus. Yeah, I'm excited to see if we raise the corpse son today.
Hi, I'm Francis, he, him, playing Bittergreen Ambrose, a Psychonaut, a former musician who took so many drugs that now he can enter your memories and dreams.
Sorry, jumped to death. Hi, I'm Craig. I'll be playing Hegel, also known as Tethera, an amalgam of corpses stitched together and animated by a holy ritual and sparkcraft. Pronouns he, him.
Awesome. And I'm Travis, slightly terrified that it's not a foregone conclusion that we raise the corpse son, because I don't want to see what happens if we fail. But I am playing the Barghest Cinder, brought to us by Briar Sovereign.
All right, and as always, we're playing the Haunts, which is a crewbook of nightmare horrors and abominations by Adam Dixon. So, yeah, let's jump into it. Will we manage to do it or not? What will be worse? So, last time you guys managed to enter this enter this hall of the, how is it called, the University of Charhol, where the Department of Alchemy, where we found how some of the students and probably of the campus body was using all of these beasts for what seemed to be unholy experiments, not unlike the ones that some of you have even gone through. So we did manage to end the animal trade that was taking place there, where animals were basically sent there to either be dissected or worse. However, taking care of that illegal scheme did seem to piss some people off. Turns out the animal trade was yeah.
We're so quiet about it.
No one found out. It was just a single building on fire, but besides that, no bridges burned there. But yeah, turns out that the animal trade was actually being handled by the Hive. They were the ones that owned that whole operation, and they were not very happy. To make it even worse, it seems like the Hive started to make some threats around, and those same threats coincided with the arrival of Lord Scorlock back into Duskfall. You haven't seen Scorlock yet, but you do know that he was approached by the Hive and that it wasn't a good exchange, and that he's very, very angry.
Oh, Dad's angry.
So, I guess my question here is, where do you go hide from Lord Scorlock before he goes straight for you?
I almost want to go the other direction of Rovdyr is unstable, so I think he just gets angry at the idea that Skurlock is angry at him. Like, he's barking rabbit dog, kind of like willing to get right back up and like no, let's go see Skurlock. Let's.
I'm slightly offended by that, but okay.
Oh, sorry. Rabid man beast. How you guys feel? Or do we want to hide? Do we want to just go confront and be like, things happen?
Yeah, I'm not super worried about it. I mean, it's probably not the greatest thing to have Skurlock angry at you, but I mean, given the premise, maybe we can give him a talking to, you know? You shouldn't have left us here. Like, you want things not to burn down to the ground, then tell us in the first place, you know? How are we supposed to know?
No point did you specifically say don't burn down this house.
We don't work for him anymore. He's not our boss.
Actually, he sees it that way.
I think we go say, where can we find Skurlock? I think it's, as soon as we hear Daddy's angry at us, it's no. Let's give him a piece of our mind.
You can probably find Skurlock in his dilapidated manor in 6 Towers. He probably just arrived this very night.
Yeah, if we're looking for him, maybe Cinder has been like just hanging out around 6 Towers waiting, and Cinder like runs back to our lair to go tell everybody right when Skurlock's like in. But I won't bark at you like a rabid animal. I'll transform and say, "Hey, Skurlock, he came back." Those weren't just rumors.
And I think Rovdyr will growl in response because he is the rabid animal out of the two of them. Well, if he's got anger at us, I say we let him know of our complaints.
This is going to be the sort of conversation where we leave quickly under fire. I'm fine with that, but I do like to dress for the occasion.
Bittergreen, you tend to be the smart guy. What do you think?
Yes, dress for the occasion. By which I mean, put on a tie, Rovdyr. I can lend you one.
Oh, you're making us commute with dark forces, are you?
I'll say this is dark dealings if we're trying to get Rovdyr in a suit. So yeah, I guess we suit up and go visit him in 6 Towers.
Are you putting on the cravat in the silk gloves?
Yeah, why not? I think Rovdyr's willing to
show some respect to our betters.
It's like a terribly done tie and all that. Maybe it's like the last, human clothes he kind of wore or something like that. But yeah, he's
He didn't learn how to tie the knot. He just loosened it and put it on enough times.
Yeah,
it's not a good knot anymore, but it's still technically a tie.
It's like the knot you do when you're like first doing your tie, and you're like, oh wait, I messed that entirely up. Hold on, I need to like refix that. It's that knot, but just.
And can I put like a bowler hat on Tethera?
This is going to be an odd job.
I like that Bittergreen has become our tailor.
The voice of reason here. So, the actual entanglement this is representing is the... I actually forgot the name.
Well, we weren't sent to jail.
Yeah, you weren't sent to jail. You roll. If you had in plus, I think that if you were in +6, you would have gone to jail, but no. So for this one, you lose rep and coin per tier of the rival, but if you stand up to them, then it's a matter of how much status you lose. So I guess you are standing up to them in this case. You find the manor house in Six Towers. I think it's this sort of a bit contrasting scene where the manor itself isn't really hidden. It's one of the main streets, but it's sort of the place that over time has started to kind of blur in with the background as it has started to decay and as things don't really look as pristine as the rest of the district might look, at least in dustful terms. So, as always, you probably will find the door open. You just passed through the yard as you've done many times in this house, which I assume all of you have been to frequently.
So we have to receive orders somewhere.
Yeah. And I think that in full Gothic fashion, you'll just find him there in the parlor, sitting on a table with some wine and just looking at you.
Wine.
What does he look
Tongue
like?
with wine. He looks with very pale, short, dark hair that matches his dark eyes. I think that he probably took his suit off and is just in a white shirt right now. He, as always, it's not quite clear what his actual emotions are. He doesn't look very angry, but he never looks happy, right? So it's sort of always stuck in this neutral phase that doesn't let you really see through it.
Yeah.
That stone.
RVF. Resting vampire face.
Yeah.
Okay.
I imagine the whole place is probably like pitch black. I imagine he doesn't have lights. So as the crew comes in out from the streets, which probably illuminate things more than the interior of the house, Cinder, probably glows like an ember, kind of like a mode of light as like everybody's walking up towards Skurlock.
So you dare come here?
I like bow, and like outside of my mouth to the bow.
And yeah, Rovdyr will do the slight nod of his head, but he's not taking his eyes off Skurlock. This is Predator looking at a much bigger, more dangerous Predator. So he's in full like alert mode, I guess.
My lord, it is a delight to see you back. How was your trip?
That's none of your business. It is not a delight to see you at all. It is quite a disgrace. Both for my business and just for yourself. Look at you.
We have to make do, sir.
What was that?
We do have to make do, sir.
Yeah, but that doesn't ensure that you go around just wrecking everything in sight to my detriment, which is your detriment.
Because you suddenly care about our detriment.
Ooh.
And I think, Rovdyr's like I think he's trying to overcome his fear right now with just being angrier than afraid, which is not going to end well.
Yeah, no. I think he will probably just walk towards you very slowly and just like, I don't know if like Blitz in the Dark has a cannon for powers. I'll just go for it. I think he can just lift you up in the air. Like it's not full telekinesis, but like almost like an extension of his arm. And just, keep looking at you with the same expression. So after that, will you still strive to keep being useful to me or not. Just want to make that clear early on as possible.
My lord, we can't be expected to know every bit of your business, even if that was our place. We apologise if we've affected your plans, but we can't know all of your plans. Just saying.
And I think he kind of looks at you like, you know, the disappointed but not surprised. I think that kind of. So, given this case, I'm kind of curious if he would want you to do something for him, or he would just kick you out. Ask you if in the process of destroying things where you shouldn't even be mingling in, you were of any use, if you found anything useful.
Let's see, actually, yeah. Did we find anything useful?
How do you like moths, my lord?
Well, depends on where they are from.
Deathlands.
And what else? Is it only moths? I could have come look for those myself.
Sorry, Captain.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what Rovdyr would be willing to give up.
Yeah.
I remember what we did.
We interrupted some. I just don't think he wants to tell Skurlock about the corpse son ritual because I don't think he'd approve. And
Same.
so what if we tell him about the academy if they were performing bad experiments and we put a stop to it? And I mean, if someone was feeling particularly persuasive, we could try and frame it as, well, technically these people could have found out, secrets that could have harmed you, and when you think about it, but I'm not playing a persuasive character, so...
Can I do a flashback?
You can always do a flashback.
What might we have found in there which Skurlock would have liked? And
That's very
grabbed
good.
What about the box?
The serpent box?
From the train. We haven't done anything with it in a while. The box from the train.
Well, technically the box was what gave you the information on the Sun Corps ritual. So that's kind of linked to that.
Okay, so we still need it, though. Okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
All right, never mind then. Forget that.
So you're saying something useful that you could have found in the university?
In the alchemical labs in the university.
Yeah, that's cool.
We could say we were trying to pull a demon out, but he got killed when the wall got blown up. It's very sad, very tragic. Here's some bits.
Hey, my lord, you fancy some demon-like little bits?
But we stopped them from having it, and they seem to not like that. Maybe. I don't know if we want to... we'd have to probably flash back some bits there, because I don't think we have anything.
Yeah, I'm trying. Maybe like some sort of extract or venom or something like that. Like, I don't know. Crab gorilla venom or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I would say either maybe a scientist that you managed to take with you, or some sort of fancy machinery that distills essences. That could also be interesting.
Does the scientist have to be alive or in a ghost jar?
You can debate that part.
Because a ghost jar, I think, is much easier to pull out.
I do like the idea of stealing tech because, one thing, he would be less alert to ritual material.
Oh, that's true.
We found science stuff. But we didn't find occult stuff because there's none to find. It's only science stuff, clearly.
Just a jumble of gears and science stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I like some equipment that sucks the essence out of people or animals is good.
Yeah, I really dig that. So
what's the stress cost for that flashback?
Like 2, 3. Nah, 2 is okay.
Okay.
You are not very. Yeah, it's plausible that was there. So.
Also, if you want, I can take it. Just
I'm clear. I got a good trauma, so I'm good.
Okay.
A nice restful trauma.
Yeah.
I will take that actually because I'm trying to trauma out anyway. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably use my healing action and push myself or something to trauma out just to get 0 stress, so I can use all my fun abilities.
So yeah. And also, I'm gonna present him with a fine bottle of absinthe from my inventory, just to like sweeten the gift.
Sure. Yeah. I think that when you offer those to him, he kind of like tilts his head in this manner that's very much like a cat, and you can see that he gets distracted because Rovdyr falls to the floor immediately, like he's just lost interest. Well, isn't that quite an intriguing trinket you've got there? So you managed to do something that wasn't just burning things down.
Cinder growls.
You know what? I do think that Scorlock kind of likes Cinder. You know what? I think that makes sense.
He is a good.
Yeah. Do you think that Cinder would let Scorlock like bet him a little bit?
I don't think Cinder could reasonably stop Skurlock if it came down to it.
I mean, it's more of a player agency thing.
Yeah, no. I don't think it would be a problem though. I imagine Cinder probably doesn't really do pets in general, but probably like begrudgingly accepts it when it's like social tack, right? Like
Sure.
people want to pet Cinder and Cinder's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I do think that when you growl, he kind of like pets you a little bit with slightly more tender eyes than usual. And just like, you can always put some stuff on fire. I know that's what you like. I'm only taking to all of these undisposable, troublesome people. If that.
Yeah, I think Rovdyr's already scrambled kind of on all fours, and he's retreated back. He's been sufficiently cowed. Bigger predator has established themselves. He's back in the shadows, kind of shut up for now, at least.
Cool. So, with that in mind, I think that what Scorlock is like, he's going to take the distiller that Bittergreen gave him and kind of like tilt it around, probably put it on a table along with the, what did you call it?
The fine bottle of absinthe.
Absinthe, yeah. That he also takes that and probably just says something along the lines of, you will now be under my sight at all times. I want you to be around at the timeless manner for whenever I need something. And yeah, just to like keep in mind that he will have you around.
Bittergreen sort of bows low again. Sort of, I am bound to you forever, my lord, and shall obey every command in whatever bloody business.
How did you become associated with Scarlock? Do you feel like answering that, or do you want to keep it secret or mysterious?
I'm interested in everyone's answers.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise that was for all of us.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but now it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to.
I was about to say, the biggest thing is I think Rovdyr, at least when he first kind of was struggling and returning back to Duskfall after kind of being abandoned out in the Deathlands, he wanted revenge of some kind, probably. And Skurlock basically kind of made like the Faustian bargain of like, yeah, I'll help you if, whoever, dumped you out in the Deathlands. But then you owe me, essentially. And maybe even he's just been kind of like bound, I don't know, even by ghost contract or something since then.
Cool.
Yeah, so like a demon deal of sorts.
Yep.
Yeah, that fits him.
I think that Tethera saw him doing something arcane just out there, and basically went up to him and said, "What are you doing?" He's a very curious kind of guy, fearless, not knowing that Skurlock is somebody not to be messed with. And Skurlock saw, I know what you are, at least I know what kind of thing you are. And I can use this. And Tethera found it useful and helpful. Nowadays, not so much, but he's committed.
I think there was a period where Bittergreen was reading people's minds in the nightclubs, maybe doing like a bit of blackmail on nobles and things by going into their minds and finding out their secrets. And he did it to Skurlock once. And in Skurlock's memory, Skurlock turned to him like the first person in there to have agency within his own memories.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Cinder probably just happened upon Skurlock. I've kind of established that Cinder's like just attracted to like the occult. Just like magical things kind of draw Cinder in. And I probably just started gravitating towards Skurlock, especially probably after the group started getting together. Maybe it would just be like a lot of interest for Cinder.
Yeah, and I think that Skurlock's relationship to you is a weird one. Like he's I don't know if reckless. He's just forcing you to do terrible things, and it doesn't seem like he cares about you at all. But at the same time, you're still around, and that's not something that happens to a lot of his monstrous minions. So I think that at some level there's something that he sees in you that's quite puzzling, especially from the perspective of something that's basically a revenant. So I think that tone always colors your interactions with him in a way that always like unsettles you a little bit.
He's always watching to see what we'll do and how we'll react to things. But
Yeah, definitely. But hey, you made it in one piece out.
So before we end that scene,
Yeah,
can I do something to Skurlock?
Oh,
of course.
You can try.
I think. Well, I have let me show you a skill that I have.
uh-oh.
I think I said the One Piece thing too early.
So it's I think Bittergreen will pour a glass of absinthe for Lord Skurlock subserviently. But I want to use my Waking Nightmares skill.
Ooh.
You can always discover what someone's worst fear is, but by doing so, you become subject to the same fears or phobias for the duration of the game.
Ooh.
That's very cool. I think I have an idea, but let me just check something a second. I think that is kind of scared of darkness. He can see in the dark naturally, so he hasn't seen darkness in a very long time, like total darkness, but the feeling of, you know, opening your eyes and not seeing any difference as if you had them closed, you can see how that terrifies him.
Nice. And so
I think that
like...
he actually never closes his eyes for that reason.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, he just
Doesn't blink.
No.
Oh, great. So now that is also my phobia for a while. So that's fun.
Sorry.
And you can't see in the dark.
Ah!
Running around with the like old timey eye drops. Like, nope, not gonna happen today.
Great. Love it.
Does that mean you're going to be scared of sleeping?
What?
I said, does that mean he's going to be afraid of sleeping?
Yeah.
Oof.
Seems logical. Alright, so unless anyone wants to do anything more in this scene, I think that we can move into downtime, and basically I think that what we were discussing before going over there, we can probably have, if you're okay with this, each of you gets a single downtime action, and then we can have a little short round of vignettes to see how you prepare for the ritual of resting the corpse on.
Cool.
Awesome. So we can probably start with the downtime actions. So do you want to go first, Jared?
Yeah, actually, so a little more for flavor than anything else, but I think, you know, as soon as they get back to their hideaway lair out in the Lost District, Rovdyr scrambles out to his mushroom garden and kind of disappears into it for a while. And I basically what I'd like this to be is he's trying to heal himself. And just to kind of play with the oh, my brain's blanking out. I apologize. The flavor. There we go. Just a little bit of flavor. He has this new spore bloom ability with making fungi grow everywhere. So he's kind of using the fungi to heal himself. He's going to give up another piece of his humanity, and he might look a little bit different coming out. A few mushrooms, a little bit of moss, and all that growing on him. Basically looking less and less personish. So I would like that to be a healing roll. I was just quick looking up the recovery rolls in the book. Where is it? I just lost it.
It's a 155.
155. Here we go. Visiting a physiker, not quite. Let's see.
Tethera does have a physiker friend who could maybe have a look. He's going to be coming to see Tethera anyway.
Oh, that's true. So maybe the Sawbones that comes to do all that, he'll at least examine Rovdyr in the brief outward forays from the patch of mushrooms. Let's see. So I would just roll... How many dice for this?
It's one base, and then you get +1 if you're using a contact, or if you have a skill that's relevant.
Yeah.
Oh, so then could I just do the one base, and then for the relevant skill or something, or a relative contact, the spore bloom, essentially using the fungi? Okay.
That makes sense.
And then Could I push myself for an extra die?
Can you push yourself for downtime actions? Kind of like all Fortunate Dark games blend in my mind, so I never remember what's for what.
Yeah, there's no rules
I don't think
against
it
it.
specifically says, but
It's just usually not the best idea when it's
Yeah,
before a
I guess
score.
so. But yeah, if you want to push yourself, go ahead.
Okay. No, just because that'll, at least narratively, he traumas out, which will I'll take the second trauma as reckless, and then that'll bring him back to also 0 stress for this score. So, all right. Let's see how this looks. That's a 6, a 5, and a 3. So that is 3 ticks. And does anyone mind if I take one of the coin just to pop up and go down to fully healed?
Sure.
are you monster? How dare? Now that's
Okay. So then, yeah, I'll take that coin, and then Rovdyr is back up to fixed, or as fixed as he's ever going to get.
I find quite interesting this image of, maybe you had part of your arm or leg sliced open or anything or something like that, and then you feel those with fungi, right? So it's not like you necessarily heal it, it's just you put stuff over it.
Yes, exactly. Like there might even be like in some parts like little tiny like kind of mushroom heads kind of even growing out and all that. Or, yes. So maybe sticks and all that coming out of the back and all that. Yeah. I'm excited. He's all sorts of dark now. Alrighty, yeah. So that's my downtime action. Whoever would like to go next?
I also have to heal. I was clawed by cats and trampled by goats in the last session, so just need to attend to this frail body. So how many dice is that again? It's the same.
Yeah, so based on what Travis just said, it's 1 base dice, and then if you have help from either a contact or a skill, it's a second one.
Right. I guess that's a 6. And can I spend 1 coin to finish that clock off?
Go ahead.
For sure.
So we start off nice and healthy.
And then can I spend a rep to take a second action? Because I have an idea. To acquire an asset.
Ah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I want to have spent some of the time with the tortoise. In the garden. There's a special formula in the book called Dream Essence, a distillation of a vivid, lucid dream, perfectly recreated for the user. And I want to have spent some time distilling the dreams of the tortoise.
Oh, right. So how do you go about that?
That's a good question. I assume it's acquire an asset.
Yeah.
Again, temporary use of a special item. Roll the crew's tier. That indicates the quality of the asset you get.
0.
Yeah, so are we tier 0 or 1? How do we start off?
Technically
Start off at
0, but I mean we could easily say we started at 1. I mean we're already Skurlock's minions, like.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 makes sense considering you're under Skurlock.
Cool.
Okay. So yeah. That is a 5, so that's tier -1.
No, 5 is equal. Yeah, so it's
Equals tier. Yeah, you're
1.
right. Sorry. Yeah. Is that okay to acquire some of this dream essence? A limited amount?
Yeah. I mean, it's a vast, wise tortoise that has lived through the ages. So you can only grab so much of it, right? Like it's just this little tiny part. How does it look like when you distill its dreams?
It's a vial of like psychedelic coloured actually. Like I think we think of dust as being quite black and white and quite like film noir, like almost black and white old movie, desaturated. But this is very pink, like magenta, and it glows.
That's very cool. Yeah. And you're not quite sure what's inside of it, but
No.
yeah.
It's pretty.
So who's next?
I've got Cinder. I'm probably going to be taking a recovery, not the healing, but the stress recovery action. And that's not complex. It's just going to be 1 die for me. But the flavor for it, I think we still have this box with like the spirit serpent, which at this point I've kind of gotten the hint is almost made of fire itself. And I think Cinder maybe like comes back to it more than once. I know I had somebody in the party kind of like put it out of reach, but I think the young boy that was trying to steal it back from us probably wandered off and didn't return at some point. So without him constantly trying to steal it, I think Cinder brought it back out to the yard, and now Cinder can do that themselves, of course, transforming into a human. And I think Cinder likes to sleep on the box, because it was good fun. And I think so. Like Cinder's recovery is like pursuing or getting tangled up in these weird arcane things. And I think Cinder goes through maybe, I don't know how many days it takes for us to prepare for all of this, but probably like starts sleeping on it like nightly or whatever. And I think in the course, Cinder also learns to control fire, which is my other ability I took. I took a veteran ability to like weave in one of the normal abilities into this playbook, which I think is pretty cool. But it's the Tempest ability from the Whisper, just flavored slightly more towards all the fire Cinder's into. And yeah, so I'm gonna roll, see how much stress I can recover. We're gonna go for 4.
How good of a teacher is the serpent spirit? How does it teaches you to control fire?
I think the serpent's not trying.
Okay.
I don't think that wants to teach me. I don't think it really wants to be involved with me at all. But I feel like sleeping on the box, and we kind of established that Cinder has this like dream world sequence, like that kind of like melts into the box's reality. And I think it's more Cinder chasing it every night and trying to get it. And at the beginning, it's like very difficult, or like Cinder cannot capture this thing. Like when Bittergreen stepped into the dream the first time, Cinder had no ability to like get anywhere near the thing. And I think it's just like force of will, like Cinder wanting so bad to like capture this thing. And probably towards the end of, like right before we actually go to do this ritual, Cinder's probably getting to the point where they can kind of like force that fire serpent not to like just squirm away. Like Cinder can get their teeth around it.
Love that. So with Tethera, you're the only one left.
Yep. Tethera is going to be quite simple. He's going to have his physical friend over. Have a look at it like this. It should be bending like this.
The bones go on the inside, right?
Is that supposed to stick out?
It hurts when I poke it like this. Ow. Ow. 6 and a 1.
Is it 2 arms or 3 arms?
My jacket got torn. Also the skin, but jacket, man. Okay, so that's a 6 and a 1. So,
Is this the physical that put you together?
I believe so.
Nice. It's good that you have a relationship still.
Yeah, but a chill dude, actually.
I would say really he needs to work on his stitching work, but other than that...
He's never... He's always happy to answer questions, except for the important one. Of course, why? If anybody's happy with that, I'll spend a coin so I can get one injury heal. In fact, filling the clock heals both, doesn't it, at level 1?
Yep, it just moves him down.
So yeah, I get myself patched up, stitched up, maybe a new hand, just as bolts tightened and such, and I am good to go.
Would you like to know why? Is that something you want on screen?
Yeah, Bittergreen's not sleeping anyways, so I mean, he's available.
I haven't slept in 3 days, guys. I can keep going. Like whatever you need to know. Like I'm the guy.
Oh yeah,
I'm the guy.
there's a lot of like amphetamines in his system right now.
I'll say no. He doesn't want to push it. He's pretty patient, but yeah, I don't think he would want that.
Okay.
I do really like the idea that the physical is like the most mundane sort of person, like the way he acts about it. You're just doing the most usual checkup and having some tea. He's just like, making you a hand. But besides that, he's like completely reasonable, completely lovable person. He just gets it a little wrong sometimes, but he tries his best.
A good man, but not a moral man at all.
Well, it's all subjective, really.
Cool. So you've all gone through some recovery. I think that some weeks have gone by as we've seen how this ritual comes together. You want this corpse of the sun to rise. You don't know for how long it will rise or what consequences could that bring to this world, but you know that that's what the box wants. The spirit in that box just dreams about that, about seeing light again. And you also have the tortoise, which can probably be another component for this ritual that you're about to perform. But you're still lacking some of the either components or the necessary people or the knowledge or the means to know how you're going to go about this. So we can probably do a round up at the clock and see how each of the characters works on an aspect of making this ritual come together. You can also frame the scene together if you would like, so it doesn't have to be individual, but yeah, at least everyone gets a chance to describe a little bit of that.
So, unless anyone has any strong ideas, what I was going to have Rovdyr do is he starts collecting all sorts of little mushrooms and all that from his garden, all these little spores and all that. And he starts going basically long trips into the city, and he disappears, for a couple hours and comes back and gathers more stuff, and a couple more hours and comes back. And, we see flashes of scenes of him in the cities, maybe even like at some points kind of crawling along the canals and just spreading these little spores and mushrooms all throughout the city. And some parts, like he'll grab a errant rat and kind of breathe onto it as it starts to maybe get like a little bit kind of little toadstools on it, and it scurries off to further spread. So I think he's trying to spread some sort of mushroom basically throughout the city, maybe some sort of like trance psychedelic type mushroom. I'm thinking maybe the ritual because it has to do with dream, getting the entire city to some sort of dream trance-like state, or as many people as possible, would be useful. And so that's what Rovdyr has taken upon himself to do. So he's basically setting the groundwork to get the entire city high.
I respect that.
Shall I roll for that, or can we just...
No, I think that since we sacrificed an action each, it's going to be just smoother to do a full round, and that's it.
Cool.
Should also be noted that it seems like this ritual might be timed with the festival, the yearly festival for the Circle of the Flame organizes every year, which is kind of a rendition to the ancient sun. So you might also want to play into that if you would like.
That's true.
Just to give more options.
Yeah. I think it's great if we just know that's the case, maybe. Like, we've been told by the spirit when, and it's like, oh, that's the... Oh, of course, that adds up.
Oh, the circle of the spire. Oh, that is the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go through the same mind-blown moment I did before we started recording.
Yeah, and it's definitely the sort of thing where, like, you didn't know this was such an old thing that actually means something. Like, it could just be the sort of thing that they made up 50 years ago or something, but actually dates back way longer, right? And has very deep roots into the whole sun cycle and everything. Sorry, what were you going to say, Travis?
Oh, I was just going to check the crew ability we ended up taking.
Mm-hmm.
It was the red mask one, right?
The ability or the upgrade?
Yeah.
The upgrade, we talked about the Masks of Red Death, and the
Okay.
crew ability we got was Dark Carnival.
Okay, so we did go for the Masks of Red Death. I think that's probably what Cinder plays into the whole thing with, because like with the what they're called, the Circle of the Flame.
Yeah, the Circle of Flame.
Flame, yep.
So I think after we establish that, like that the Circle of Flame is involved in this in some way, I think Cinder, because I imagine Cinder probably, maybe besides Bittergreen, has possibly the easiest time being in town alone. And I think Cinder probably starts just like hanging around, like wherever the Circle of Flame does their stuff. I don't know if they have a hidden temple or if it's just like meetings or individuals or whatever. But I think at some point, Cinder probably, just in observance of them, and like hearing them speak about their occult ritual that they're probably doing every year or as part of this like festival, that it probably is something magical, but it's probably like so far removed from the correct ritual to raise the corpse sun that they don't really get anything out of it, or like it's very nominal. But I think Cinder probably like watches, observes this, and at some point picks up on some of the ritualistic stuff that they're doing, and ends up like running into one of the like chambers where they're like gathering stuff, and ends up stealing like a ton of like their occult like robes, or like the festival, whatever they use to dress, which probably includes these red masks, and like just grabs a ton of these things and gets out, brings them back to the rest of the group.
I've got two ideas. One would be like to talk to Carla, the person who owned this box, and then the other one would be to go and look at the corpse sun.
Oh, you don't want to stare at that.
How would you go about the latter?
I would go into space.
Damn, both of those are very good. I cannot choose.
Let's do like the 1970s psychedelic space journey. I'm going to use like my dream form.
Okay.
So while I can sleep while my mind wanders free, perceiving the world in like intensity of existence and profundity of significance. So I'm going to send my dream form up and out of the world and into space, and through the whatever space looks like in this world, through the ether, and see if I can reach the horizon of the galaxy or of the solar system, and see if there's a corpse sun there.
For the record, viewers, the Earth is a globe, is round, but for the purposes of this game, you know those Renaissance sort of drawings that are kind of like a cupola? I think we could maybe use that abstraction of at least what you perceive.
Yeah, this is dream logic. This is psychedelic dream logic. It doesn't even have to look like, and it's not even what the corpse sun looks like. It's what it abstractly is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the dream of the corpse sun like?
Ooh.
Good album name.
Go ahead, mark another trauma just right now.
That would be fair. That would be entirely fair.
You know what? I feel like it's almost like an inverted plane, like an upside down. Like you go up and up and up and up, and then at some point you are still going up, but you are seeing everything go down on you. You know, like you're seeing everything in reverse. And as you keep going on, you eventually dive into the voidal sea. Only that this time is hotter and very, you know, it's the opposite of what Duskfall would feel, which is like freezing cold. This voidal sea is very much hot, and as you keep going down or up, depending on your perspective, it just keeps going at these unbearable temperatures. And I think that whatever you find down there, it's too sort of raw and immeasurable to kind of describe, but it's just this sinking down feeling in you of this. You don't know if it's conscious or not. You know it's asleep, that's for sure. But I feel that you're just confronted with this immensity. And so you can sort of.
What color is it?
Oh, I think it's a very deep shade of red. Like at first it seems to be total black, but as your eyes start to like acclimate to it, you start to see the nuance and how it's actually, like a deep crimson. And I think that as you grow more aware of it, the red starts also getting more intense. It almost like blinds you.
And that's the point where anyone else in the house just Bittergreen screaming from the bedroom as he like wakes up.
Very scared of the light and dark.
I kind of like the idea of Bittergreen being like marked by it in some way. Like maybe your eyes take on a hue like this thing that you saw.
Yes, good.
Yeah, because it's the same shape also, so like, that's very good.
I like
so,
it.
what insight does this give you, do you think?
It exists. That's a good start.
Already obsessed. Yeah, it exists. It is an achievable thing. This is something that's real, in like a meaningful sense. And I was already obsessed with it because of my trauma. I like it.
Could it also be it saw you back? We have its attention now?
Oh.
You looked too long into the void and the void stared back.
If you want that, Francis, I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, please.
Okay. It's
Thank you,
just getting
friends.
better. Yeah. Wow. So, Craig, what do you want to do with Tethera?
I think Tethera is going to be attacking defenses. He's going to be trying to disrupt arcane protections around the ritual site. Just the montage would be him cornering people, going to be a Batman thing. Tell me where it is. Generally, just forcing arcane people to do his dirty work for him, and occasionally just taking the big prybar to ancient ruins or wrecking a arcane machine deep in the sewers below. is, brushing his hands off. And I guess he's generally just trying to take as many things that would slow us down as possible out. Probably not making many friends, but who needs friends? We got the sun, baby.
Yeah, so you're kind of like oiling this machine by trying to, how would I put this? Like to turn down any obstacles that could come along the way. So
Yeah,
sort
I'm
of
trying to
make the
weaken.
options better.
Yeah, the things that people have been putting up around the ritual site to prevent us doing what we're about to do. I imagine that this ritual has been going a long time, or a version of it has been going for a long time. At least originally they didn't want people like us interfering. They may not know about some of them now, but people do, even if they don't have the whole picture. And I've just been finding people who know a bit of it and beating the corn pieces at them.
All right, yeah. So that leaves us with a very clear picture. Those were all very good vignettes. And I think we can take a 5-minute break and then jump back into the score. So that will be at 38.
Cool.
Good to me.
Sounds good.
All right, see you in 5.
See ya.